can do things like, I want to see a list of everybody that's on my list here, but hasn't bought the following product or set of products. And so you can say everybody that bought the year we make contact, but they didn't buy 2001 A Space Odyssey. And then it would return back to us a list of people who didn't purchase something. And then at that point, we can go in and create a mail list. It then will go out and generate for us what's called either an email list or a mail list. And then from this, you can save that as a comma delimited file, print labels to mail out the physical media, or we do have I don't have it in my test data here, but we do have, if there's an email on file, it'll populate the email so you can do like an email blast. So it not only provides you the ability of analyzing, but it then provides a connection back into marketing. And then you noticed when I first pulled that up, I didn't talk about it, but you identify like a mail list code, and then that code then you can input that into iPUB when you create an order, and then that mail list code then flows back into PubVision so that you can filter on it. So you could say, okay, based on this promotion we did, what were my sales? Who were the customers? What products? Who didn't, who bought a product but didn't buy the other product, that kind of thing. Now, we also have what's called several different output styles. Right now, what you were seeing was what we call a standard, which is demographics on the left, statistics on the right. We also have what's called period comparisons. And so what we can do is we can take that period of April 1st of 2008 through the first week of April in 2008 and compare that to April 1st of 2009, compare the same period of time, or they could be different periods of time. And now what we'll do is we'll see this exact same thing, but two different periods associated with each other. Here's Men from Earth, Woodcraft Supply. They purchased 14 of them in 2008. In 2009, they purchased 42. We've got a 28 unit increase with 67% increase, and 67% increase in sales also. So what we now have is the ability to compare sales. I've got it sorted by product. I can drag this column over and resort it by bill to, and then we can then filter, not filter, but resort it. And so here we have, we can go find again, here's another one, Men from Earth. Their sales are up. Looks like they're just up all the way across the board. 2,500 units versus 1,200 units. So overall, their sales are down. All right, any questions so far?
From this screen that we're on now, the main screen?
Yes.
Maybe from this point, we've been drilling down for a while. If we got to this point and said that that's the type of report that we really like, is there any way to set that up as sort of a template?
There sure is.
Over and over again?
Right. What we do is we have got a save and a save definition to a new definition. And so if we click save, it then's going to come up and say you can create as many of these reporting groups as you want. And I'm just going to put it in sales and marketing, and then we save it. Now that's saved permanently. We can also do a save as to save it to a new definition. And Paul, if you create a report, Nancy can modify it, but she can't save it.
Right.
She can save it to a new name,
right,
but she can't save it.
Okay.
Only you can save it.
All right.
So that way you don't have somebody going in and taking your report and altering it. Now your numbers are off. Now, another thing that we do is, right now we've only been running 1 week. If we're running a month, it's usually fast enough. But suppose that we're comparing years and we've got quite a complex report that we're running. We don't want to wait for the 10 or 15 minutes for it to run. What we can do is we have two functions that work together. We have what's called date automation. And what we do is we go through a series of parameters that say how would I like the date periodicity to be associated with this report. And so like we can say period 1 anchored, and then we can then say period 1 ending would be roll with period 2 ending, and then period 2 we say let's keep it anchored, and period 2 ending we're going to say keep we can say keep at current date. And so what that will do is now you have a way of automating the date so that in this example, as we move forward through the month, and suppose we had set this through where you can see this actually would be a quarter if we were looking at this report, because we have the period beginning of April 1st, and it will then run through whatever today's date is, and it didn't adjust it. If I pull it back up, it'll adjust it. But so what it's doing is it'll keep the same period rolling with us that we have rolling for this year. So what's this quarter doing compared against the exact same period of time, but just a year ago? And so every day it'll roll forward with you. Then once we set that, then we can then come into what's called scheduling. And so, Paul, you could say, hey, I'd like to see this in an Excel spreadsheet, and I'd like to see this daily. And what that will do then is it will then, in coordination with our scheduler, it will then automatically email you this report every day.
Right.
And it could then, or it could send, and you can set up a distribution list for it too. And so I have some installations where they have literally hundreds of these scheduled reports, and they get, they go everywhere in a wide variety, and you can set it up, say, I'd like it at month end, I'd like it at period end, I'd like it at, a whole variety of setup options on it, including one where you can create your own schedule for it.
Randy, we really haven't gotten much into the functionality of iPUB, obviously, so when you say the scheduler runs it, what do you mean by that exactly? Is there an operator, or is it picked up by a program called Scheduler that picks up jobs? I mean, is there any...
There's a little guy behind a curtain, and he runs these. Now, there's a piece of software that sits on the server that runs these. We can set it up to execute however frequently and whatever time you would like, and then it'll execute. It goes out, evaluates all the it evaluates the PUB Vision reports that are ready to execute, and if it matches the criteria of your scheduling options, then it fires off and sends you the report. So you could actually do it in the middle of the day. Most people do it at night, and so it's ready for them in the morning when they come
Paul
in.
wanted to see a report at the point at which we close our month end, which could be variable, because it may not be the exact day of the month.
Exactly.
We get sales in. I don't know about the physical end of the month close. How is that handled? Does this scheduler coincide with a particular month end period within the system that iPUB knows it's closed out to know when to run it?
No, there's actually something that says right here, custom.
Cool.
And what you do is then you go in and schedule it. And so you say run on the following dates.
So it's date driven, it's not end of month driven in terms
there's